Hey guys, today's Tuesday, September the 12th of 2023, and I wanted to go over crude oil. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So here is a chart of 20 years, and I'm using some spectrum cycle analysis. And the cycle, there's two here that are positive, but I'm going to go with the stronger one. It's the 143. And this cycle hit a low somewhere around June the 27th, around there of this year. And now this cycle is up and hits a peak somewhere around September, you can see the 16th of 2024 of next year. So this cycle is bullish and it's up. Is it going to, just go straight up? No, it's going to oscillate back and forth. But if it's going to follow this projection in the cycle, yeah, it's very bullish. Just keep an eye on right here for, you can say October of this year. We could get a little pullback. And maybe somewhere on March of next year, bottom out if that plays out, and then continue going higher to September. So this is the daily cycle, and I'm using 5 years of data, and we have a cycle that's 367. You can see how it, picked some turning points, some early, some late, and now this cycle is hitting a peak. And that's coming up right now on September 19th, around there. It's a peak. And then this cycle is down. If you look a little closer, you see how prices have been fluctuating. So now this was the down peak here, somewhere around August. So yeah, it says lining up September 25th, 26th, around there. And then this cycle goes down on the daily all the way to like October 25th. And then it kind of oscillates while the main big one goes down. Okay, now that we got the cycles out of the way, let's look at seasonality. So using a 5 year, you can see that October and December are pretty strong. November is kind of flat. You can see that August and September are a little weaker. So remember, October, November, December are the strongest here on the 5 year. We go straight to a 10. You can see that these are all flat. September, October gets a nice bump. Also December. November is a little weak. Using a 15, you can see that September is a little weak, and October, November, and December are good. So it's a nice little bump to the upside. And lastly, using 20 years of data, you can see that August and September are a little weaker. October, strong. November, a little flat. And December, stronger. So from what I'm gathering from looking at all these time frames, October and December are probably the strongest, and November looks overall a little weaker. Here's another seasonality chart I like to use. These are using the averages, 5, 10, and 15-year average of what price action has done. And you can see that over here it gets like a nice little dip, September 7th, and then they kind of rally. A few of them go sideways from September, you could say 14. Some even maybe have a little pullback. But then from September 26th, things get interesting. The 5, the 10, and the 15-year average just start grinding higher. And they pretty much peak out somewhere around, on average, October 9th. So keep on an eye on October 9th. It may hit October 9th and top out. It may be a little earlier, may be a little later. So whatever you do, just give it a little wiggle room. But that's a key date you want to keep an eye on crude if you're long into October. And just trail your stop. But so from here, September 14, it kind of pulls back or just kind of sideways grind, and just keep an eye on September 26. If there's a nice little pullback and then you see some price action just starting to grind higher, chances are that maybe this could play out until October, and then you can see that October just starts getting weaker and weaker. Looking at our commitments of traders report on crude oil, the ones I focus on is commercial and large speculators. And you can see that from July the 2nd, large speculators just started accumulating and buying, believing that crude oil is going higher. And you can see that here in the price action. While commercial have been hedging, and they believed that crude oil was going higher, so they were hedging. They're selling. So let's see. This is where we're at right now with commercial minus 308. And large speculators are somewhere around, plus 299. Let's see if this momentum continues. That means that crude oil should be chucking higher. Okay, so this is my last chart. I cover 3 charts here, pretty much market profile, which is volume. Give us an interesting perspective in regards to what, important levels in price action. Also the midpoint chart and also my simple glance chart. So let's look at what's going on here. As you can see, this is a strong level. 50% is held up well, and now prices have been now chucking upward. Targets is that 333.3, 89.17, and the next one will be the 25%, which is 99.50. And you are above the point of control. The value area high was 84.38, and you are above that. So that looks good on the monthly. On the weekly, point of control was 70.74. You're above it. Value area high, 84.38. And there's also one here at 101.62. So it looks like it wants to go higher. On the daily, the point of control was 79, and you're above value area high. So yeah, so using Gann's ratios, this is the next level, 89.17. Let's go to simple glance chart. As you can see, you're still above the cloud. Linear regression channels are pointing up. You were just kind of chopping around this linear regression channel. Looks like you want to go straight into the midpoint and cross over and go to the other side. So that's looking good. MACD crossover positive. Sentiment looking good. Looks like weekly sentiment has bottomed out. MACD is getting a little choppy, but still positive. Volume for the last 2 weeks have been green, but last week's was a little weaker, below average, but strong. Let's see how this week closes. Now we're in the cloud, so it gets interesting. It gets a little volatile. It gets a little wonky. Price action could get very erratic here. It looks like the cloud is becoming the future. Future is getting positive in the cloud, so that's good. As long as we could break out of this cloud on the weekly chart, just keep an eye on this level. I can see that that's going to be some strong headwinds, 93.63, all the way to like 94. 94 to 93 is going to be rough. But so far it's looking good. PPS buy signal kicked in on July the 3rd and hasn't looked back. You're above the 50, you're above the 20, you're above the 100, you're above the 200 SMA. You're even above the 20 on the monthly, so that's good. And above all the moving averages. So on the monthly and on the weekly, so that's good. And on the daily, you're already out of the cloud. So one of the strategies are, once you get out of the cloud, you buy on any pullback. And if you got out of the cloud and pulled back, your next PPS buy signal, that's where you get in. You get all these traders that are short and squeeze them out, pull back, and then on the next PPS, you buy again and build a position. Once you're out of the cloud on the short time frame, which is the daily chart. Market sentiment positive. You can see that the MACD so far gets back and forth. As of right now, it's negative. But let's see if it's going to continue pushing higher. I see price action. Oh, we get a Tom D mark 13th candle right here on 9/12. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We had a 9th here. Didn't really do much. We had a 9th here the next day, and then there was a little pullback. But I haven't seen a 13th yet. So this is a 13th, which is for today. But so far, all above the moving averages. Linear regression is pointing up nicely. This is kind of sideways to up. So yeah, once we get this linear regression channel up here, I can see maybe it kind of stalls and maybe it's going to have to, come down a little bit and then continue maybe the next leg higher. But it needs to take a little break from this exhaustive move. Maybe push higher into, I guess, maybe, I don't know, October, maybe November. That's when November we know it gets a little weak. Let's look at our midpoint chart, and that's where we'll end it. Yeah, so on the daily, you're above the 87.43, so that's bullish. Right now, you're hitting 88.33. You're above the weekly. Look at the midpoints, the way they're stepping up. It's just very positive price action. You're above the monthly, which is 81. Getting very overextended because look, you're about to hit the pivot, which is 88.50. It's 88.54. You're very close, and even close to the Gann ratio, 33.3, 89.17. You're above the 50% from the swing point, but the yearly midpoint is like $100. So that's why we see it red, because we haven't gotten there yet. So that it looks like it's on the hunt for that. Yeah, at least to 100. Get to the midpoint of the yearly midpoint chart. So let's see how that's going to play out. But so far, I will be buying dips on crude until we get to maybe October. October, you should be a little cautious because November gets weak, or even towards the end of this month. Just start really, keeping your eye on crude because it looks like it wants to go up there. And then once using the seasonalities and the cycles, it could get interesting once we get into October and November. But I'm going to sign out. Hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on crude oil.